Hello friends, and welcome back to day 16 of our Polar Parrot Fish journey. Each day brings something new, and today is no exception. If you've been following since day 1, you know how this amazing growth process has been, from tiny wrigglers clinging to the surface to free swimming fry to now little adventurers. Yesterday, in day 15, we saw them becoming bolder, swimming further from their parents, testing boundaries and building strength. And the parents, while protective, started giving them a little more freedom. So the big question for day 16 is, how much stronger and bolder are the fry today? Let's take a closer look. Right away, I can see changes. Their bodies look slightly longer and a bit fuller. They are looking like those small submarines. Their fins, especially the dorsal and tail fins, are more defined, and they are not just tiny flaps anymore, but little steering wheels that they are learning to control. And you'll also notice how they move differently too. Yesterday they would cluster near the parents most of the time. Today, they are starting to spread out into new corners of the tank. Now, some fry are naturally bold, darting out in the open water with confidence. Others are more cautious, sticking close to the group or staying under a parent's watchful eye. Now, this variation is totally normal. Just like in any classroom, you'll have both extroverts as well as introverts. But what we need to talk about is the parents' vigilant guardianship. What I love about polar parrots is their cooperative parenting. Notice how they are still protective, patrolling the tank edges, keeping an eye out. But compared to the earlier days, they are not constantly hovering over the fry. Instead, they are giving them some space to explore. You see, the female is here and there, lingering around. The male is chilled out in the corner, enjoying his rest. So therefore, they have developed the sense of urgency that, well, there's nothing to worry about here at the moment. When we speak about cooperative parenting, we also need to acknowledge or admire the trust that they develop with the aquarist, or in this case, the trust that they have developed with me. As you would have seen earlier, they allowed for a water change without interfering. And this is also another aspect of their parenting. Not only in a way in relation to the fry, but also in relation to the owner or the caretaker. Now, coming back to the parents and the fry, we see that every once in a while, you might see a parent nudge a fry back towards the group or guide them away from a risky spot. But overall, they are more relaxed, almost like they are saying, go ahead, try it out. We are here if you need us. And this really reminds us of human parenting. Letting your kids play outside in the yard while you watch them from the porch. Now that's trust, freedom, and just enough protection. Now also look closely how these fry are moving. They often form small shoals, swimming together in mini groups. Then suddenly they'll scatter, darting in all directions before regrouping again. And now their swimming is stronger and sharper. They can now dart quickly if startled. Now this is important because in the wild, these movements are practice for escaping predators and chasing food. Think of it like a kindergarten PE class for the fish, building muscles, coordinations, and agility. Every flick of the tail is exercise, and every exploration builds survival skills. Now, when you look at the physical changes, the changes are subtle but real. The fry's bodies are longer, more kind of torpedo shaped. They are dorsal fins and caudal fins are sharper and more useful. And some fry even show the first hints of pigmentation. Okay, but that's very minute. You'll have to actually really zoom in, or you'll have to really actually use a magnifying glass to actually see those specks of color that are beginning to form. Now, of course, growth at this stage depends heavily on diet. And of course, what is the best diet is protein rich foods. So here we can speak about baby brine shrimp, which are excellent source of protein. You can also speak about microworms and powdered fry food, which also keep them energized, So also finely crushed flakes are perfect if you're on a low diet or if you're on a low budget. Also, you can give them powdered pellets. So generally, I feed them the optimum powdered pellets. So you have the optimum pellets, which you generally use for small mouthed fish, and because generally the polar parrots enjoy that, I had bought a pack of food that was specially for polar parrots, but then somehow they would not just eat it, and they prefer to have this optimum micro pellet food. So the same pellets are powdered and put for the fry, and they seem to enjoy it. And most likely now we are trying to also put that for the jewel cichlid fry, because their growth is a bit slow. So maybe a change of diet should help over there. So do comment if you feel that the optimum micro pellet food is okay, or is there any other food which also will help to provide bright colors, good protein, but within the budget. So if you have any suggestions, do let us know in the comments. We'll be grateful for that. And here's the golden rule. So nutrition and clean water is equal to visible growth every single day. So that is a must. Those two things are the must. Now look at this. One or two fry have in a way swum much farther for the group than yesterday. They've gone much further away. You can just see there at the edges of the tank, they're exploring the upper sections of the water. Now they're exploring the corners of the tank, and in this way we see that in nature the fry learn how to forage. Now what is forage? Foraging is pecking at algae, looking for microorganisms, and testing their ability to find food and stay safe. So in other words, it's inspecting your environment and trying to see what can you find around, what are the best places, what are the places to avoid, scanning the area in short. Of course, in our aquarium there are no predators, but their instincts remain the same. Venture out, test the boundaries, and then return to safety. And even while they do this, notice how the parents are still present. They're not micromanaging, but they're standing by, like lifeguards at the pool, ready to intervene in case there is some kind of emergency. Now, what are the day 16 milestones? So what does day 16 really tell us? It tells us that the fry are no longer fragile newborns. They've crossed an invisible line into being mini explorers. Parents are evolving too. They're still protectors, but they are less controlling. They're building trust in their fry's ability to handle short adventures. And therefore the next stages will be even more exciting. Fry will scatter more widely across the tank. Growth spurts will make them resemble tiny versions of adults. And the feeding behavior will become more competitive, like siblings at a dining table. So if I had to sum up today in 2 words, it would be courage and curiosity. So let's wrap up today's day 16 update. What have we seen? The fry have become bigger, slightly bolder, and they're exploring more. The parents balance freedom and protection beautifully. And today's milestone is all about building independence while still relying on family. Now I'd love to hear from you whether you prefer watching the bold fry darting out, or do you prefer the cautious fry staying close to the parents? And at what stage do you think that the fry can be called truly independent? Drop in your thoughts in the comments. I love reading your insights. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you're enjoying this journey. And here's a little teaser about tomorrow. Now day 17 will shift our focus on feeding behavior, how fry compete, how they share and how they grow hungrier as their bodies demand more fuel. Until then, thank you for joining me together, and together let's watch these tiny lives grow into beautiful polar parrot fish.